Welcome to the deep dive. So you sent us this amazing Reddit thread, well, threads actually, about a relationship problem that went completely off the rails.
Off the rails is putting it mildly. We're talking about someone who decided breaking up was too hard, so naturally the solution was low-grade chemical warfare.
Exactly. Forget it's not you, it's me. This is like, it's potentially the agricultural pesticide of your casserole.
It's maybe the worst breakup strategy ever devised, truly.
So our mission today, folks, is to wade into this absolute mess. We're looking for the wildest details, the moments that make you go, wait, he did what? We need to trace the paranoia, the suspicion, and then the unbelievably stupid confession.
It's a masterclass in cowardice and, frankly, criminal stupidity. Let's dig in.
Okay, so part one, the original post. This comes from August 2022. The original poster, OOP, she's 29, describes herself as, fit, active, healthy.
Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, and she's been with her boyfriend, who's 30, for over a year. And by her account, the relationship was smooth sailing. Like, no big fights, everything seems stable.
Okay, so far so good.
Until about 5 months before she wrote the post. That's when things started to get weird. Her health just tanks.
And this wasn't like a sudden flu. This was something different.
Right. She describes it as this constant nauseating inconvenience and weakness, just feeling awful, but not, ER level sick all the time, more like consistently drained and unwell.
Okay, so debilitating, but maybe not immediately alarming.
Exactly. And she notices this really specific pattern. It only happens after she eats food or takes supplements that her boyfriend or sometimes his family gives her. Prepared stuff.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah. When she cooks her own food, totally fine. Eats his prep meal. Sick.
That's pretty clear correlation, isn't it?
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But it was low-grade enough, insidious enough that it wasn't like this immediate, obvious, oh my God, I'm being poisoned moment.
More like a slow burn, designed to wear her down, maybe make her doubt herself.
Totally. And here's a key detail she mentions. The boyfriend has access to hospital supplies and agricultural supplies.
Ooh. Okay. That's specific and ominous. Hospital and agricultural.
Right. It's not just like grabbing bleach from under the sink. This suggests some level of planning, maybe even mixing things.
And access to things that might not show up on standard tests, perhaps? Or things that mimic other illnesses, agricultural supplies? I mean, what kind of flavor profile was he going for there?
Ugh, let's not even think about that. But yeah, the access is a huge red flag. And it explains why it was so confusing for her. She even did her own little experiment.
Okay.
She ordered delivery one night, felt fine, ate his food the next day, bam, sick again. Classic symptoms, chills, headache, basically bedridden for days.
Okay, that seems pretty conclusive.
But, and this is crucial, she'd already had a school test done, and it came back completely normal.
Ah. So medical science says you're fine, but her body is screaming something is wrong. That's textbook gaslighting territory, even if unintentional from the doctors.
Exactly. It fueled her self-doubt. Maybe it was all in her head. Maybe stress. Which leads us right into the internet advice she got when she first posted.
Oh, I can only imagine the Reddit comments section on that one.
It was split exactly how you'd expect. You had people, like usernames Erhard59, saying, go to the ER now and explain everything. Sensible.
Your most sensible advice, yeah.
Urgent situation.
Another, Kareneve, was like, look, it's chronic, it's consistent, you need a proper medical investigation, period.
Good advice.
Logical.
But then you had the other side. People telling her it was all in her mind, she needed a psychiatrist, or just straight up accusing her of trolling, making the whole thing up.
Which probably just echoed her own internal fears, right? That she was going crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
amidst all this conflicting advice, the most obvious practical suggestion came from someone called Emberg16, who basically said, maybe just stop eating the food they give you. Like, period. Full stop.
Groundbreaking stuff, I know. Seems pretty straightforward. If you suspect the food is making you sick, stop eating the food.
You would think. But get this, her reason for not immediately stopping. She wrote that just avoiding the food. Well, it does nothing for the relationship aspect.
Wait, what? She was worried about the relationship aspect while potentially being slowly poisoned.
I know. It's staggering. She's literally bedridden, feeling weak and nauseous, suspects her boyfriend is the cause, but she's worried about making things awkward by not eating his potentially toxic offering.
But the relationship was already toxic.
Well,
Literally, that's wow. That's some next level conflict avoidance. Prioritizing the appearance of normalcy over, basic physical safety.
It really shows the psychological grip, doesn't it? The boyfriend was, maybe unintentionally at first, weaponizing her own desire to keep things smooth.
He certainly benefited from her hesitation, so this goes on for months.
Yeah, she suffers for months, doubting herself. Eventually, she starts secretly throwing the food away. And guess what?
She starts feeling better.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Feels totally fine, which finally gives her the proof she needs. So 3 months after the original post, she confronts him.
Okay, here we go. The confrontation.
And it plays out exactly like you'd expect from someone capable of. Well, this. First comes the gaslighting, the denials, the deflection. What are you talking about? Are you okay? That kind of thing.
Standard playbook.
But she holds her ground. She keeps pressing him. And then he pulls out defense mechanism number 2. Blame someone else. Specifically, his mother.
The classic mommy made me do it. Or rather, mommy did it, not me.
Yep. He spins this whole tale about how his mother did not like me. I thought OOP was taking away from her. And that she got the chemical from the family farm and put it in the food.
Okay, points for, well, no points, actually. That's just pathetic. Throwing mom under the bus for felony assault.
It's incredibly weak. But OOP wasn't buying it. She knew the food often came directly from him, too. And she pointed out the obvious flaw in his story. She stopped eating the food he gave her, and magically, she's fine now. How does he explain that?
Cornered. What does he do?
He finally breaks.
Yeah.
Completely. And admits the truth. He did it. He was the one poisoning her all along.
Wow. Okay. The confession. Now, the million-dollar question. Why? Why go through all this elaborate criminal effort?
This is the part that elevates the story from disturbing crime to just baffling internet legend. The motive wasn't some grand evil scheme. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't anything dramatic.
Don't keep us in suspense.
He did it because he was casually conversing with another woman.
You're kidding. That's it. He met someone else.
Basically.
Oh.
He wanted out of the relationship, but was too much of a coward to actually break up with her.
So instead of saying, hey, this isn't working out, he opts for agricultural chemicals.
Yep. His grand plan, in all its twisted glory, was that if she was sick long enough, if she was weak and lethargic and overwhelmed, she would eventually get fed up and break up with him.
Let me get this straight. He decided committing a serious felony, risking prison time, potentially causing long-term harm to his girlfriend, was easier than having an awkward conversation.
That's the core of it. He thought making her chronically ill was the path of least resistance for him. He wanted an excuse, a way to frame the breakup as something inevitable because she was sick, not because he wanted out.
The sheer unbelievable cowardice is just breathtaking. He escalated a standard breakup scenario to aggravated assault with farm supplies just to avoid being the bad guy for 5 minutes.
He literally became the worst guy imaginable, a calculating poisoner to avoid the temporary discomfort of a breakup conversation.
Unbelievable. So what happened after the confession?
Well, she did break up with him immediately, told him to get out of her place, which, good for her.
Yeah.
Finally.
The bare minimum, really.
Right. But here's where the internet commenters really latched onto the story and where a lot of skepticism came in. Despite knowing he'd intentionally poisoned her for months, causing significant illness, she only told him she'd think about calling the cops.
Oh, okay. That does seem like an unexpectedly mild reaction to finding out your partner tried to incapacitate you with farm runoff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Reddit exploded. Commenters were screaming, call the police now. He'll do this to someone else.
Yeah.
Which is a valid point.
A very valid point. This isn't just poor relationship skills, it's criminal behavior.
But others immediately pointed out the problem. She admitted she'd been throwing the food away for months. The primary physical evidence was gone. Prosecution would be incredibly difficult.
Ah, the tragic irony. The same instinct avoiding confrontation, wanting things to just stop that kept her eating the food initially, also led her to dispose of the evidence that could have brought him to justice easily.
Right. It's messy. People online drew parallels to other weird domestic crime stories like that infamous Juice mother-in-law poisoning case. Someone joked it was like Henry VIII, but just way more pathetic and cowardly.
Less regal ambition, more can't handle awkward chats.
But the core of the skepticism from users like Toxic Childhood and Sidamama really focused on her reaction after the confession. They felt it was unrealistic. Anyone I know would have called the police immediately, was the sentiment.
It didn't fit the expected narrative of a victim of such a bizarre and serious crime, did it? No immediate police report, no mention of getting checked for long-term damage from, ingesting chemicals for months.
Exactly. One commenter, Brad Brace, even floated the idea that the whole story might be fiction, maybe designed to prove a point about how quickly people online dismiss women's concerns as hysteria, noting that Reddit villains always end up confessing, giving this neat resolution real life often lacks.
That's an interesting take. The tidiness of the confession is a bit convenient, narratively speaking.
Yeah.
But the skepticism mostly seemed aimed at her post-confession actions. It felt anticlimactic. Too subdued for the crime described.
Yeah. It's that disconnect between the sheer insanity of the crime and the quiet, almost passive response afterwards that made people doubt. So let's recap the core facts we pulled from this. A fit 29-year-old woman gets systematically poisoned over months. The culprit, her 30-year-old boyfriend. The weapon, a mix of hospital and farm supplies. The motive, he was too scared to break up with her because he'd started talking to someone else.
Just typing that out sounds absurd. It's a plot from a terrible low-budget thriller, except apparently it happened.
Which brings us to our final thought, something for you to chew on. Why is it that the victim's reaction, the messy human, perhaps illogical reaction like not calling the cops immediately or throwing away the evidence, is often the very thing that makes online observers doubt the entire story?
Yeah, that's a fascinating point. We expect victims to act in a certain rational way, especially after such a betrayal. When they don't, when their response is complicated by fear or shock or just a desire for it all to be over, does that make the initial crime less believable? What does it take for us to accept that sometimes betrayal is not just criminal, but also deeply, deeply pathetic and weird?
Something to think about. Truth really can be stranger and sometimes just more cowardly than fiction. Okay, and that's our dive for today. Stay safe out there, everyone, and maybe just stick to takeout if things feel a bit chemically unstable in your relationship.
It's a lot of advice. See you next time.